taken so long, and I'm so sorry. It is because I actually moved to Arizona. Just like I told you guys I was going to. I am now in Arizona, and I'm filming in my new apartment that you won't get to see for a minute until we get everything settled, and then I'll give you guys an apartment tour. But today, what I basically wanted to talk about is my experience in moving. I put down a step-by-step process for you guys to follow so that it would be easier for you if you ever wanted to do something a little bit crazy like me and move. So first, this is dumb. Marcus is in the background, so if I kind of smile or laugh or look that way, it's because he's being funny. The first thing you want to do is, if you're trying to move within the country and you're just unhappy in your state, is pick a state and city based on factors such as diversity, weather, transportation, job availabilities, and things to do overall. The second thing you may want to do is going into the state and actually seeing it. You may either want to go into the city, or maybe just looking at the apartment or the complex or the house that you chose or considering to move into. And some of the things to focus on is pet fees if you have a little fur baby, or if you're planning to get one, or the amenities that they offer, such as, let's say you want to move into a complex, they have pools, or maybe they have like a beach on the side, or maybe they have fitness center or a laundry room, things like that, things that may convenience your life. And if that's not the case, maybe look into a dishwasher, or things that it may come with that may save you some money. Once you've made up your mind, it is time to move. You've settled, you're like, I like this place, what do I do and where do I go from here? First, figure out the date that you want to move. The date may be a big deal, because for complexes, for example, the sooner you move in, your rent may actually decrease. I'm going to speak a little bit more about apartment complexes because that's what I went with. But basically, when you come there, they want to see what kind of apartments you'd want to look at. They have available on the spot, they have maybe within a few weeks, maybe they can show you something similar to what you're looking for. Or if you want to move in a couple of months, you just want to look around, and they won't really show you the things that are available at that moment because they're most likely going to be already taken by the time you decide to come back. Once you're done and you figure out all of that, also figure out how many things you have. If you live in a big house and you have so many things to move, then that's an important factor to consider because it's a lot of things to move and it may be a little costly. If you just live in like one bedroom like I did, it may not cost you as much. If you don't have anything at all, it may even be smart to just pack up your things and just fly with it. For example, if you don't have many things such as, furniture and things like that, if you just have clothes and it's not even a lot because you're not a hoarder like some people we know like me, pack it up into a couple of suitcases and just fly with it if that's the easiest route for you. Whether or not you would like to take a plane or a bus. A thing to consider while you're choosing a place is making sure that your annual gross income is actually sufficient for the apartment. There are apartment complexes that may charge you 3 times your rent, and I had to deal with that. There was a lot of issues with that, so if you want to hear more about it, just comment down below and I'll let you know. But basically, apart from apartment complexes which don't really qualify you to put down a lot of money to get the apartment, there is a bunch of apartments that you may lease with a landlord that may require you to maybe put down a few rents, security deposit, and just a lot of money at the end of the day. So if you want to go by that, you want to make sure your credit and your gross annual income is good enough, and you have to just double check with them and make sure that they're going to even approve you before you make all the plans and future steps to move into this apartment. And if it's not high enough, maybe decide if you want to have a roommate. I moved with Marcus, so it was a lot easier to be accepted because both of our gross annual incomes kind of combined and both of our credits combined. And if you don't make enough annually, you can always take a buddy with you, or boyfriend, girlfriend, family member, sister, brother, anybody you would want, or maybe even find a roommate online. You also want to decide if you want to take a U-Haul or maybe a moving company. We decided to go with a moving company simply because neither of us have driver licenses. So at the end of the day, it would be kind of impossible to move that U-Haul unless you find a driver. So what we ended up doing is going with a moving truck, which actually cost a pretty penny. It was expensive, just letting you know. And another thing you want to keep in mind is that they may give you one price, but at the end of the day, they charge for so many more things than just moving your stuff. If you want me to make a video about that, I can also give you the experience about that, because a lot more money was taken out than I expected. Schedule your pickup in a way where your stuff is going to get there in a timely manner, where you don't have to suffer to actually get your thing. My example would be that it would take about a week and a half to actually get to Arizona from New York, for the movers with the stops and everything. So you have to keep in mind whether you want them to come and pick up right before you leave, which would then result to you not having any of your things once you move, and you would have to wait until they decide to get here. Or you could just pack things in advance, have them come maybe a week in advance, and then once you get to the apartment, which is what we did, we waited a few days and our stuff got here pretty fast because we already suffered in New York. You also have to find out how long it would actually take the truck to get to your location. If you're not moving very far, let's say you're moving in the state, you probably don't need a moving truck. But if you're moving pretty far, let's say you would move from like Florida to California, that's way too far. You would have to calculate and ask them how long it would actually approximately take them to get there, so that you can do all that math and all that thinking about whether or not you can actually afford to have that time lost between you and your things. And if you already have a pet, this may be a little tricky, but you have to look into how you want to move your pet. This may be a really big deal because not all airlines take all pets, whether or not you want to put them in cargo or you want to check them in with you. Most of the time, if you don't have a dog or a cat, it may be the hardest thing to move them, at least by plane, which I can also give you a whole, I'm like self-promoing here or something, but if you want to see a video on how I have to deal with it, I have a Chinchilla. If you don't know, you probably already do because I flaunt her all the time. It was really hard. It was, oh, I will tell you all about it if you want to know. So if you don't want to take by plane, or if you don't have any options to do it by plane or by bus, I'm not really sure what it would be like if you took a train or a bus or something like that. So I can't really speak on that. But you can also look into pet moving companies that might charge you a little bit or a lot more than a plane might, because they're taking care of them. But to keep that in mind also is that that would take time for your pet to get there. They're not going to be there right on the plane with you and then to be there when you land. So it'll take time and more money, and it might be a little, it may be safer for the pet, but not safer for your pockets or your time between them. Just putting it out there. Those are all the steps that I've written down so far. These are some things to keep in mind though. Whether or not you want to move in the beginning or at the end of the month or in the middle of the month, you will have to most likely pay for that rest of the month. So let's say you move in April 20th and you have 10 more days until the month is up. You will most likely be charged for the 10 days that you will be living there, and then May 1st comes and you have to pay a brand new rent right there. So that's what we had to deal with, and that's what we found very crazy, because we're like, wow, we didn't know that. We thought maybe, you know, it would kind of be like a phone bill, maybe a phone plan where you open up a phone plan, let's say on the 20th, and then you have to pay on the 20th. Nope, that's not the case. You will have to repay the rent in that following 10 days. So please be prepared for that, because otherwise it'll be fees and lates, and just be prepared. Take time to find out when you want to move, because that may be very important. So it may be best to move around the first of the month so you have that entire month to plan the next rent. I had some money saved in my savings account, which saved us entirely. If you don't have a savings account with money, maybe it would be smart to look into a credit card or a loan, because at the end of the day, let's say you're coming into this new place and you don't have a job set already. You don't know how long it will take you to get a new job, so you may need that money to last you, whether it's for food, whether it's for the next rent, whether it's for the necessities you may need, such as to cook food or something like that. Or maybe even if you move to a city that doesn't really have transportation like that, you may want to look into having a car if you don't already have a car. And if possible, you may even want to find a job before you get to the new place, so that it's already set for you, so that you don't have to waste that time looking for a new job. You could do that online, or maybe while you're visiting, you can look around in stores and give them your application or give them your resume, and just let them know that you're planning to move from point A to point B, and that you may want to come into an interview then or once you move. And last thing that you may want to consider is actually getting necessities to your apartment before or around the time you get there. So for example, let's say you live with your parents. Most likely they're gonna provide you with all the things that you need that you don't actually think you may need once you get on your own. That may be pots, pans, sponges, soap, things like little things that you may need, or maybe like a trash can, for example. Before I came here, I actually had a little Amazon order with all the little things that, since I moved from an apartment to an apartment, it wasn't as hard to figure out what I may need, because some things, though, when I moved into my first apartment, my roommate already had in the apartment. So that would be like trash cans, maybe like scrubby thingy, or something like along the lines, maybe like a shelf, a bookcase, a couch, a chair, a bed, things like that. You may want to order in advance so that once you get there, you don't have to suffer and start scouring for them and things like that and wait until the shipping finally gets there. Good websites for that may be Amazon, because Amazon actually lets you know the approximate date that they would get there, maybe even Prime shipping, which would get there in 2 days. But if you go to other websites, they may not actually tell you, they may take a while to ship it out. It may take up to a few weeks rather than a few days that Amazon will tell you. No promo. So that's all I have for you guys. Please leave a comment below if you want me to make a video on anything specific. That may include my experience moving 2,500 miles and how that went apart with the moving company, my experience picking an airline that would actually suit accommodating bringing Bliss on the plane, whether you want a video about choosing the right complex, because you know they're all different, they may all be enticing, but then you're like kind of getting there and like things you may need for your first move, which would kind of include, you know, within the Amazon or things like that, or things that you may need before you move. Or if you want to hear about my overall experience spending money that I didn't know I would have to spend, or my least and favorite, easiest, hardest thing about moving, or something along the lines of that. So if you like any of these ideas, please comment down below. I will be more than happy to let you guys know. I want you all to be happy. If you're not happy where you're at now, you can follow your dream and move. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Click the notification bell if you want to be notified of all upcoming videos that I make. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content such as these. Comment any comment with love. I love love. And that's it. Have a great day. And remember, you're a goddess. Later.
I think I'm fat as hell, I got his shoes out of line. Saying tomorrow I beat the dishes, never come. Easy bake, easy wake, come on. Just give as much as you take, forgive as much as you hate, or get the fuck out.